Hi, I'm Sergio Garcia, captain of Fireballs GC and 2017 Masters champion. Welcome to my LIV lesson. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the scoring zone.
Oh, you just look so comfortable.
Absolutely brilliant by Sergio Garcia. Sergio with another birdie opportunity. What a magnificent shot. It might be even better than that. Wow!
The scoring zone will be considered probably from anywhere between 150 or 125 yards into the hole, and it's pretty much wedges. You can maybe even get to a 9-iron, but it's mostly wedges, and it's it's those situations where you give yourself a chance for birdie if you hit a good drive or into a par 5 that you had to lay up, or also if you hit a bad drive and you have to chip out, maybe a great save for par that can really keep your round going. So that's a very important part of the game that it can help you save a lot of shots. Guys, here we are. We're in that scoring zone inside 125 yards. We're 105 yards away from the flag here. A tiny bit downwind, so it's obviously going to play a little bit short. It's probably going to play around 100 yards, something like that. So I carry 3 wedges. A lot of players carry 4, some even 5. I have my most lofted one is a 58 degree. Then I have a 52 degree as my sandwich, and then I have a pitching wedge 47 degrees. Obviously, what we're going to work here, it's like we said earlier on the range. Here, the most important thing is going to be obviously good consistent contact, good strike. That's going to give you the ability of controlling ball flight, spin, and distance. If you can do that from this distance and give yourself a lot of good looks for an up and down at 125 yards in, you're always going to be doing great. Even if it's for a birdie or for a par save. Sometimes a par save from this distance feels even better than a birdie because it kind of keeps your momentum going, I guess. So I'll start with my 52. It's obviously going to be, this is my 125 club. So obviously it's going to be a much shorter shot. It'll be a kind of shot where if it's into the wind or if the greens are soft, I'm trying to control the spin of the ball. So usually, unless the flag is like behind a bunker or behind a slope or something like that, what you try to do from this distance is like a one-hop kind of stop kind of shot. That's what the easiest thing to control is. It's not easy to control 8 yards of spin or something like that. So we're gonna start with this shot. Obviously, because I'm hitting kind of like a 3/4 shot with this club, the trajectory is going to be a little bit lower. It's going to be a bit of a hop and then kind of stop. Then when we go to the 58 and I hit a more of a fuller shot, you'll see the trajectory will go up. The ball will probably come back a little bit more, but let's try to see the different kind of shots that you can hit and how you can control it. So I can see that the green kind of looks like it slopes a little right to left. So I'm going to try to aim a tiny bit right of the flag. See if I can hit, that 100-yard shot with this club. There it is. Yeah, so you can see that's a smooth swing. It's a lot more control. When we go to the 50 to the 58, you'll see it's a stronger hit, more spin, more speed, a little bit different trajectory. But that's the beautiful thing when you get comfortable and good with the wedges is you can hit so many different kinds of shots to get to the same spot. That's always fun to have a lot of different possibilities. When it comes down to the scoring zone, obviously there's so many things that you can do. Obviously your wedges is where you put the most amount of spin. So obviously depending how the greens are playing, depending on the wind, you have to work with lowering the spin or getting more spin and lowering or hitting the ball higher depending on you know, where the flag is, how the greens are reacting, how firm or soft they are, and where the wind is coming from. So if you're in control with that, there's so many different shots that you can hit there with those scoring clubs, and you know, it becomes really fun. Here, because I'm not hitting a full shot, everything is going to be like a little bit tighter. So, you know, my stance, I like it to be a little bit feet closer together, but I'm still doing the same things I was doing there. You know, I'm still making sure that I'm square, that my height's still the same way, my weight is a little bit on the left leg, but it's gonna be, you know, I'm probably gonna grip it a tiny bit shorter, down on the grip, on the handle, but my feet are a little bit closer together because I don't need to make a full swing, and all these things kind of help me prevent from making a full swing, you know, so it's going to shorten my swing a little bit, and that's what I need for this kind of shot. The ball is still kind of in the middle with this kind of club. There it is. There's a couple of things to be able to control your spin. One of them, it's very important, I didn't mention, make sure that your club is clean. It's very important because if there's dirt on the grooves or something like that, it definitely changes the way the ball flies and the spin that it comes out. It's not as consistent. But I think mostly the spin you're gonna control with the speed of your swing. So the more speed you put in the swing with the shorter clubs, the more spin you're gonna get on it. So obviously, if I'm hitting like a 3/4 shot with the 52, I'm hitting a smoother shot. The club head speed is going to be slower. The spin that you put on the ball is going to be slower, so it's not going to back up as much. You'll see when I hit the 58, the swing will be a little bit faster. The trajectory will be a little bit higher. You will have more spin. It will bounce and kind of come back a little bit more than these ones that are kind of bouncing, stopping, and then just low release. In. or a par save. All right, let's see what we can do with a 58. All right, so now I'm hitting my 58, my most lofted wedge, and you're gonna see, usually I hit this club around 108 yards. So for me, it's almost gonna be a full 58 for this flag. And I'm expecting it to, the greens are not super firm, so I'm expecting it to bounce and probably come back. So I have to make sure that I fly it at least to the flag, even though it's a little bit downwind. Let's see that. Obviously here you'll see my stance will probably be a little bit wider. My swing is gonna be a little bit longer, a little bit more speed, and then you'll see the little bit different trajectory and then the reaction on the green. Nice one. It's something very important that probably a lot of amateurs don't think about, is to make sure that your grooves are clean when you're hitting every single club, but obviously with your wedges even more, because you have to be so much more precise. I think it's super important to make sure that your club is clean, the grooves are clean, and that way the ball reacts exactly like you want it. If you don't, funny enough, the ball will react a little bit different. Even if you hit a good shot, it might come out with more spin or less spin depending on the dirt that is on the club. So it's very important to make sure that they're nice and clean. I mean, you have to realize what the contours of the green are doing. So if it was a flat green, then it would probably most likely bounce and then come straight back. Here it's kind of sloping a little right to left, so all of the shots are probably going to bounce a little forward and then kind of spin back and left. You know, you have to realize all these things when you're hitting a club with more spin, how the ball is going to react on the green, because you can hit a great shot that bounces next to the hole, but if there's a slope there and you put in too much spin, it's going to take the slope and then it's going to go off the green. So you have to think all these things to make sure that not only you hit a great shot, but you hit the right shot. So that's obviously very important. There it is. Do it. Ooh. That was close. With my 58, this type of shot, I'm hitting it pretty standard. So it's pretty square, just a normal shot, just trying to make sure I gauge the distance on the spin right. Obviously, there's different things you can do. You know, I could hit like a lower one with more draw and bounce it higher right on the green and then make it spin left. The other way is gonna be tough because it's gonna be tough for me to cut it into this wind and get it far enough and carry the little slope that is in front without hitting that slope and spinning off the green. So that would be more a shot that I would hit with a 52 if I wanted to do that. But let me try to hit like a lower one with a little draw and kind of like a little bit more of a side spin. I want it to go a little bit lower, so I'm gonna back foot it a tiny bit. So my angle of attack is a little bit more descending, you kind of take a little bit of loft off the club, and then it's gonna be a little bit of a release on my hands to make sure that it has a little bit of that draw. So you see, it's a little bit more back foot. The face is a little bit shot. And then it's a lower shot that is gonna hit there and spin left. Phew, that was close. I'm still swinging out to the right because I'm trying to hit a draw, but it's just, instead of, if I'm trying to hit a fade, my body will be aiming a little bit more left and my swing will be going more from outside to in this way, and then kind of holding a little bit this way. The top of my hand will kind of hold a little bit more there to keep the face a bit more open so it cuts. When you're trying to hit a draw, you're kind of doing the opposite, like you're making sure that this rotates, so then the club face does that. So then you're catching the ball this way, and then it puts the right to left spin on it. So I'm gonna try to hit, with my 52, I'm gonna try to hit a bit more of a hold shot, maybe like a little bit of a low hold. The ball is not gonna carve too much because with the short irons, it's easy to hook them. It's much tougher to fade them or slice them, and with the right to left wind. But it's probably gonna go fairly straight, maybe a tiny bit of a hold, and then hopefully it'll just bounce and be more of a straight spin kind of bounce. Obviously, I'm gonna be aiming more towards the flag instead of a little right. And then, like I said, I'm just gonna kind of hold that a little bit there to make sure that the face doesn't release so the ball doesn't go left. Try to get a little bit of that left to right spin.